Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Project Learn, a reskill and Sparky initiative aiming at upskilling tech enthusiasts on emerging AR tech with the help of workshops and hackathons and building a highly engaged Sparky community. Through these workshops, you would be taught how to build AR effects on Sparky Studio and with features that enhance the experience of Facebook and Instagram users. I am Askar Khan, and before we start the workshop, I run you through a small presentation to share the purpose, flow, application, and benefits of being a part of this program. As I mentioned, Project Learn aims at helping you kickstart your career in the domain of augmented reality by training you in the technology. Next slide. The program structure is divided into three broad categories. In the first phase, we will walk you through Spark AR Studio and teach you how to create first AR effect from scratch, which involves importing assets, canvas, face tracking, patch editor, and generating test link. In the second phase, we will move a step further, teaching you about advanced filters and sharing with you Spark AR policies before you finally submit your AR effect. Submission of your effect will give you a meta certification, access to resources that will help you prepare for the hackathon. In the final phase, we will host hackathons at your college level and at Pan India level. You will be rewarded and recognized for your efforts and contributions. Before we move further, I will quickly introduce Spark AI Studio to you all. Spark AI Studio is a tool used by a global community of creators and brands to create and share AR experiences using Facebook family of apps. And augmented reality is an interactive experience which digitally enhances what can be seen, heard, and touched in the real world. At the moment, we have over 600 million people using AR on Meta apps. Let's have a quick look at what's happening in the world in the field of AR. There are four key capabilities where AR is being used. To give you a brief insight on how AR is being used worldwide, we have all come across these face filters on Instagram where we can add a mask on our face. This is done using the face tracking capability. IKEA, the popular Swedish chain of home furnishing stores, uses AR to help their customers choose the right furniture for their home through the world tracking capability. Similarly, while QR codes are now normal to scan, we are also able to scan pamphlets and business cards using target tracking. Similarly, body and hand tracking, the latest capability introduced, offers utility for fashion and e-commerce brands, allowing users to try on an outfit digitally before they click purchase. These are a few effects I am sure some of you have tried using, like changing of hair color when you scream or a phone call from a celebrity. AR also plays an impressive role in escalating your gamifying experience by mapping effects with facial expressions, gestures, and head movements. AR has played a crucial role during the pandemic in bringing the world to your drawing room by emphasizing on the moment, making the content much more interactive, enjoyable, and memorable. Having said this, what happens to the effect I have created? Well, the effect can be published on your Instagram user page, in the stories section, in the reels, and guess what? Your effect is available to the audience worldwide to use and experience. A pertinent question that arises is, how does this program help me professionally? There are various ways in which you can use your AR effect to your advantage. You can monetize on the platform by building interactive AR effects for brands and creators. You can become an AR UX researcher, AR developer, or an educator. Leverage AR in your career by identifying and solving problems. You can take the augmented reality career further into learning VR and XR. With so many advantages, both immediate and long term, I'm sure you all will make the most of these workshops. We had shared a download link for Sparkia Studio with you in the email. I hope you have downloaded it. In case you haven't, please do it before we begin the session. I would now like to introduce the mentor for the session, Shivani Deshpande. Shivani is an electronics and telecommunications engineer She works as a full-time augmented reality developer. Shivani specializes in web AR, in-app AR, and social AR. Hi, Shivani.
Hi, thank you for the introduction.
So over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hi, guys, welcome to today's workshop. I'm really excited to take up this workshop today. So, I'm going to teach you today a little bit about Spark AR and what AR is in general. But first, I'm going to tell you a little about how I started my AR journey. So I'm going to go take you to a flashback to my first year of engineering. We had this Singaporean gaming company come and give a workshop in our college. They were talking about AR and VR. So in 2016, 2017, these are really new terms, right? So it was very interesting. I was like fascinated with the idea of augmenting something into the real world or creating a virtual whole real world and playing games in it. So that's when I got introduced to AR VR, but I did not really, go and search more about it or research. I was like, yeah, this is cool. And as you know, engineering studies or any college studies are so difficult to cope up with. That's where I was focused in. So fast forward to a few years in my final year of engineering, I was like, नहीं यार मुझे regular job नहीं करना. I want to do something different. I want to do something new. So what I was just thinking about it. I was scrolling through Instagram. Instagram is a day-to-day part of everyone's life. So I was just like scrolling through Instagram and I saw this one creator making his own AR effect. So I was like, wow, we can do this. So I even, went online and did a little bit of research and I downloaded Spark AR. So as uh, at that time, AR was very new. Spark AR was new. We did not have any a lot of workshops or videos. We did not have Reskill conducting workshops for us. So it was a little bit slow learning. I started developing AR filters first. I remember my first effect was just I put a little bit color on the screen and used some little bit of animation to make it look like old video, kind of give it that kind of a vibe. And I uploaded that as my AR effect. And then I started learning slowly. There are documentations on Spark AR library. You can check it out later on. I'll show you where it is. And yeah, that's how I started developing. Then I started making AR complex AR effects. And yeah, then I wasn't actually monetizing AR. I was doing it as a passion, I would say. And later I realized I could maybe work in this. This could be my career. So that's how I started doing it commercially. The first effect I made, the first filter I made was for influencer. It was just a makeup filter, color filter, and that got 10.5 billion impressions. And so I got started getting new work. Now I've worked with brands like Zivame, Briefcase, and many others. I have been worked with influencers. So yeah, now I'm a full-time AR developer, and I found this. This is my story. I'm going to show you a few effects to show you what kind of filters and AR experiences you can create using Spark AR. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. I'm going to show you the first AR filter that I created. This was, yeah, this one. I just put a little bit of color and a little animation, dust animation. And then later on, I started making complex effects. You can make various kind of effects using Spark AR. I'm going to show you some ideas. You can use pop culture reference. I made Chota Pandit face mask over here where you can become Chota Pandit. And then there is, you can use 3D assets and make filters like this. You can put a hole in your face, on your head, whatever you want to do. You can just bring your imagination into reality. So this is one thing I have made. Then you can put flowers on your face or on your head and you can make them react to audio. So when you speak, the flowers move or some kind of animation is happening. This is another kind of AR effect that you can make. And you can make 3D, you can use 3D objects, 3D assets. You can make yourself Iron Man helmet like this one. and you can use interactions to open the mask. You can make AR games. This is one AR game where I'm targeting aliens through the eyes, the goggles I have, and I'm lasering them out. So this is another AR game effect example that I'm showing you. Then this is one of my recent ones. This is another game where you move your head to control the hero, the ball, and you go through the obstacles. Yeah, then you can make quizzes like this. You can use pop culture references to make quizzes like this. And you can color your hair. This is one effect I made for Sacha AR influencer. So this is something you could do. You can color your hair. You can put makeup on your face. You can use sparkles. And then you can get yourself butterfly wings and animate them to look like this. And then I'll show you my latest effect, the last one. This is target tracking effect. Sorry, this is a plane tracking effect. So what it does is, this effect is creating a virtual world in your environment. So when you open your back camera, you see this whole another world. And in that world, I have made two rooms, escape rooms, and I have hidden keys somewhere in these two rooms. This is the first room. So you can walk inside the room using your camera. You can look around and you can tap on objects and make them move. And then you can find a key. And then you can go to the next room. This is the next room. So this is the latest effect that I have developed. All these kind of effects are possible using Spark AR. Spark AR is a social AR platform. So currently there are like three ways of three AR categories, I would say. The first one is social AR, which is, for example, Spark AR, which is used for Facebook or Instagram. And the second one is Lens Studio, which is used for Snapchat. So what these kind of AR softwares do is you can make AR effects on this. They are user friendly compared to other types, and you get a lot more reach because these effects are uploaded on social media and people can view it. So if I'm using someone's AR effect and I post it on story, so when I upload that story, you can see the name of the effect, right, and who created it. So people can go and click on that and try the effect, go check out the profile. So this is why AR effect is social AR is more popular. The reach is immense. And then the second type is web AR. You can make AR effects and you can access the AR effects directly on your web browser. So you don't need to have any kind of application or you don't need to be on social media to use it. And then there is AR apps that you can make. So these are whole applications, AR-based applications that you can make. And yeah, so that is the AR application, AR apps and web AR are something that have a specified target or specified reach. You cannot reach, you don't get the kind of reach over there as you get with social AR. So today we are going to learn about Spark AR, which is the most popular social AR platform right now. And we are going to learn to make a AR effect. I'll show you how the AR effect will look after both the workshops. That's today's workshop and tomorrow's workshop. The final product will look like this. I'm just going to share my screen. Just a second. Okay, so this is the kind of effect we are making. We are making a cat themed effect. So in this effect, we are going to learn a few capabilities in Spark AR. And today we are going to do the easy ones, and tomorrow we'll move forward to a little complex capabilities. So let's begin. I hope you guys have already downloaded Spark AR version 144. If you haven't, you can go to Spark AR's website and download it from here. And I have also shared a asset file. I think it must have come, it must have been reached to you today morning. If it hasn't, I will request Askar to paste it in the comments. So I'll just show you how the asset file look like. We have all these assets over here that we're going to use today. Just a second, I'll just share my screen. Yeah, we have all these assets over here that we are going to use today and in the next workshop. And I also have the Sparky file over here, so you can try it out. And yeah, let's begin. Let's open our Sparky Studio. We'll first learn a little bit about Sparky Studio. We'll walk through the software and understand how things work a little bit, and then we can start the effect. In the meantime, if you have any questions, any doubts, or if there's something you want to ask, you can write it in the group, in the chat, in the comment section. I will look through all of them at the end and will answer your questions. So let's begin. So this is the Spark AR software. When you open it, this is the screen that you can see. There are various options. If you see on the left, there is an option to create new. On this page, you have a lot of templates, okay, with a lot of advanced capabilities that Spark AR has. So maybe this is for people who don't want to start from the beginning, and this gives a jump start to seasoned creators or developers, or it can act as a base for new beginners who are learning Spark AR. So you can just open these effects and you can see what they have done, and you can make something similar. So there are a lot of kind of things. There is depth text color overlay. This is very new capability that has just been launched. It only works for iOS, iPhone 12 and above, I guess, because it uses LiDAR technology, which is not available in most of the camera devices yet. So this is the first newest template that they have launched, I would say. Then we have audio visualizer. It uses audio to, trigger an animation of sorts. Then there are a few other kind of templates. You can make AR experiences for video calling as well. So for example, you have a trigger and you send a object from your screen to your friend's screen while video calling. So this is also something that has launched, I could say, just like very new capabilities. You can make your own AR music instruments. Then there is hand tracking and body tracking. These are also new capabilities that Spark AI has launched. So you can track your hand, and with the movement of your hands, you can trigger an AR effect. In the similar way, we also have body tracking over here. Then we have few other things. There's different type of capabilities, as Askar first showed you in the PPT. There's face tracking, plane tracking, target tracking. So this animated poster is an example of target tracking. What it does is it focuses when you focus your camera on a target image, animation or something is triggered through it. Yeah. So you can check out these templates and you can maybe open them up and see how things work inside. What have they done exactly? Now, what we are going to do today is we are going to start from scratch. So there are at the topmost line, you can see there are 3 project experiences we can choose from. There's a blank project. Then there's a sharing experience. Sharing experiences are AR experiences which we can share on story, reels, on Facebook, whereas video calling experiences are AR effects, AR experiences for real time. Let's start. I am going to stop my camera over here so you can see me on. You cannot. Okay. Okay, so when you open a new blank project, this is what you see. And let's see what all these things are. Let's discuss a few of them and understand how things work in the software. So if you see on extreme left side, we have something over here known as scene. So this basically is a scene panel. We can see all the objects, all the 3D objects or assets that we have used in this project over here. So there are few objects that are already placed over here, which one is device. So we can, this is the device that is the parent of all the other objects that are here in hierarchy. Then we have camera, and inside camera we have focal distance, and inside focal distance you can start building your effect. So there are two lights already placed over here. One is directional light, and then there is one ambient light, and we can just see these. And there's a microphone over here already placed. There are a lot of other things you can import over here or add over here. If you see the plus sign over here, we can click on it and we see all these objects that we can use to make our AR effects. We'll discuss a few of them soon. And then let's go to the assets panel. Assets panel is where your textures, your audio files, your 3D objects, everything that you're going to use for this AR effect is going to be placed. So when we import textures from the computer, this is where we'll see the textures and all. Next, we are going to see over here video. So this is different type of camera options we have available. We can start our own camera, or we can have these real-time simulations so that we see how our AR effects will look in real world on our devices. So there are a few options over here. So this is the simulator at the right. Here we'll be able to see how our AR effect is actually looking and how it will look in real world. So this is a simulator over here. We can change the devices, the kind of devices. Maybe I don't want to see how it looks in an iOS device. I want to see how it looks on an Android device. So maybe I can just go here and I can change. So the ratio of the screen it will change according to the device. Then this is the viewport. Here's the main action that takes place. When we place objects or assets in our filter, in our effect, here's where we can see it. And then on the top there are manipulators. These are called manipulators. Using these we can manipulate the 3D objects that we are using. For example, we can adjust the position, or maybe we can rotate them, scale them. So all of that is done through over here. Now let's see a few of the objects that we can use to make an AR effect. So over here we have a lot of them. Let's understand a few. Today we are going to learn, we are going to use face tracker. So what face tracker does is it tracks your face. So when I add it in my scene panel, you can see in the viewport that there are 3 axes that we can see, X, Y, and Z axis. So it's tracking our face in real time on those axes. And when we make some effects or filters using face tracker, so this is the first step that we do. We add a face tracker. Now maybe let's see some other trackers that we have. There's a plane tracker that is over here. So if I delete my face tracker and put my plane tracker in here, so you see now we can see the plane, and we can move around the plane to see how it works, how the effect will look like. Then there are a few other trackers over here, as we saw, target tracker, hand tracker, etc. Then there are a few 3D and 2D objects that we can use to make AR effects. Now, first things first, let's just insert our face tracker over here at first, because this is what we're going to use today. And then let's see what we can do with this face tracker. So when I right click on this, I can add objects from over here as well. I get a list of objects, or else I can just go to the plus sign and click it, and I can add objects from here. And if you see, when I am placing my cursor on an object, when I'm selecting an object, information regarding that object comes over there. So you can understand, you can read it and see how it works and what it actually does. And we also have this option where we can see uh, if it's available for video calling or just for sharing experiences. All those things we can see over here. So now let's move and understand a little bit about light. There are different types of lights available to make our AR experiences or make our 3D objects look real. So there's an ambient light that is already there in the scene panel, and a directional light that is also already there. So if you can see, an ambient light, it has a constant amount of light which is spread overall everywhere. So that's what it does. It gives ambient lighting to your AR effect. Then there's a directional light. So you can place it at any direction at one point and the at a distance, and this and it shines on all the objects in the same direction. It can be used to maybe show sunlight, for example. Then there is environment lighting, which simulates real world environment. I'll just show you how this works later on, but you can read what it means over here. And then there is a point light, spotlight. There are different types of lights which can make your AR effects look realistic, and you can read the documentations over here of what they do. Then we have speakers. If you're using some audio effect, then we can use speakers. We have particle systems. So now what particle systems does is it gives out a lot of planes, a lot of textures together. So we can use this to maybe make snow or rain, or some lanterns. So of that, something of that sort can be made using emitters. And yeah, let's see other things that we have. We have some 3D and 2D objects. So we have this plane, which is basically a plane which we can move in X, Y, and Z direction. So this way I'm moving it using the manipulators. I'm using it in Z direction. Over here I'm using it in X. I'm moving it in X direction, Y. That's something we can do using the manipulators. If you've noticed just now, when I added the plane object inside the face tracker, you can see it is tracking our face, and the plane is moving along with our face. It is like stuck on your face. So that's how face tracking works. In a similar manner, we also have something known as face mesh. So I'll tell you the difference between why we can use face mesh instead of face play or instead of plane. So face mesh is it tracks your face, and what you can do using face mesh is you can create makeup effects. You can have tattoo effects. It basically sticks to your face, and this is one way we can make makeup effects. We can use face meshes. And the plane, what plane does is plane tracks your face, but it does not stick on your face. So you can move it around. Just a second, I'm just going to pause the video. Yeah, you can move it around in all the directions. You can rotate it. You can scale it as you like. Yeah. Now, similar to plane, a plane is a 3D object. In 3D space, you can change it into X, Y, and Z directions. But we have a counterpart, a 2D object, which works kind of like rectangle, like plane. So that is rectangle. Rectangle does not have Z-axis. You can move your object only in X and Y direction. You can. It is a 2D surface, whereas plane was 3D surface. So now to actually insert the rectangle in our scene panel, we first have to insert a canvas. So this is a container for laying out 2D objects and making it responsive to the screen sizing. So when I insert this, you can check it out over here. The screen, you can see a blue line around our screen, and that is the canvas. So inside the canvas, you can have your rectangle. So you can move it around only in X and Y direction. Yeah, this is the difference between plane and rectangles. You can use rectangles to maybe change the color of your screen, or to add text, maybe to add some kind of graphics that you want on the screen. So I'll just give you an example of difference between plane and rectangle. Here we have a rectangle, and we are just going to import a plane as well. And here you have a plane. Both of them are under the face tracker. So now I'm just going to import one of the assets that we were going to use today, and you'll see the difference. So we'll just use maybe these whiskers. And yeah, so when I import whiskers, they import textures. You can see them. They are here in the assets panel. And in the right, you can see the details regarding to the whiskers. You can see how much is the size of the texture and dimensions, etc. over here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create a material for both of these objects. So there are two ways of doing it. You can just directly click on the object and click on the material, and you can create a material, or else you can just go here in the assets panel and click on material. So these are the two ways you can make material. Now what's material? Material is the uh, is where we are going to import our textures in. So this material will be visible on the 3D object. It will be applied on the 3D object. So as you can see here, I made a material for plane, material 0. And in the right, you can see in the panel, these are all options we get when we make a material. So let's talk about the first one, which is the shader type. There are different types of shader types. There is flat, standard, physically based, paint. All these help you make your effect realistic. And these shader types define the kind of light that's going to fall in your object. So, for example, if you use flat, it does not get affected by the light that we use in our AR effect. But for example, if we use physically based, you see this the light the lights do get affected. I'm sorry, the 3D object gets affected by the light. So if you see when she's moving, you can see the light source reflecting on it. Yeah, so that's how these shaders are different. You can try out all the shaders, all the different shaders, and try and see how it works. I'm going to show you the difference between both these rectangle and plane right now. So we are just going to add this material. So here we have an option of texture. So we'll just go here and add our whisker. So this is how it looks on the plane, and as you can see, we can move it around in Y direction, X, or Z. So this moves in all these three directions, and this is how it will look. But when we add the same material to a rectangle, let's add it over here. So now this is stuck to your screen. Though both of these objects are inside your face tracker, still you can see the difference, how a rectangle and a plane react. So great. And now let's see a few other things, and let's move on to making the effect. I'm just going to delete all of this now. Yeah, so I'm just going to show you how physically based effects work on a face mask as well, on a face mesh. So maybe if I make a material over here and change the shader type to physically based, you can see how the light is shining on the face mask. You can make it more metallic by using the slider, or you can make it a little bit rougher. And yeah, there are different blend modes over here too that you can use. They also define how this material, how this object looks on your face. Okay, now let's move on to making our AR effect. Let's start with a blank project. If you have any questions about whatever I have explained to you by until now, you can just put it in the comment section. I will look at them and reply to all of them after the session is over, after we make this AR effect. So now let's begin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this plus sign, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this face tracker over here. Because we're going to make a face tracking effect today. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to download to import all the assets. There are multiple ways of importing assets. As I told you, you can import them directly from here, or you can first create the object. So maybe first let's take a plane, because for today's effect we're going to use a plane, and let's just drag it inside the face tracker. You can either do it this way, or else you can just right click on the face tracker and add an object and add a plane. So now that we have a plane connected to our face tracker, let's import our first texture, and for that we'll have to first make a material. So what we'll do is we'll go to the right side. Here's the material option. Let's click on it and create a new material. Let's name our material ears, because we are going to make ears first. Ears underscore material. So it is very important to like name your materials, your assets, because what if I want to change something in this effect after maybe a month or two? When I open this effect, and if the effect is very complex, it has a lot of objects, it has a lot of textures, so I won't be able to understand what's happening. I'll get a little confused too. So to save us from that confusion, it is the best to stay organized and name all of our objects and materials. So we have named this as ear material. We'll just name the plane as ears. Okay, great. So I'm going to go to the material. I'm going to change this shader type to flat, because we don't want it to react to the light. So I'm just going to change this to flat. I have shared asset file, so we are going to take ears out of the asset file. So I'm just going to click on here, over here, choose file. You can do this, and then we can choose the ears over here. Okay, so this is how the ears are looking right now. They are near our eyes, but we want it on our head, right? So we are going to use the manipulator to drag it upwards towards our head. So I'll just click on ears over here, this object. You can see we get these X, Y, and Z coordinates for position. So I'm just going to pause the video for a bit so that we can control the object a little better. I'm just going to drag it over here. I maybe am going to scale it a little bit because it's too small right now. So I'm just going to go here, click on this. This is how you can scale the object. I'm just going to increase the height, the scale. Okay, so I think I want them to be this big. I'm going to go back to the manipulators and adjust the position using this. I'm going to drag it down a little bit. Okay, so maybe I want my ears to look like this. Let's see how it will look on the... We can try to see how it looks on different people. So we understand how the effect looks on all kind of people with different kind of hair or skin color or face structure. Maybe I want to make it a little smaller because it looks too big on some of the models that we have over here. So let's just decrease it a little bit. This is too small now. So there are actually two ways of manipulating the position, scale, and size of these objects. So I have shown you the first one, which is easier when you can just use your mouse to, increase or decrease the size. The other one is through here to the right side. You can see option transformations over here. There we have position, scale, and rotation, three options similar to the manipulators that we have over here. And we can just change the values in X, Y, and Z direction. Coordinate. We can change the X, Y, and Z coordinates of these manipulators, position, scale, and rotation. So we want to increase the size a little bit. So the scale is 1 right now. Let's try how 2 looks. And let's do 2 in all the 3 directions so it looks uniform. Okay, so it looks this way. Maybe 2.5. Sorry. 2.5. 2.5. Yeah, this looks good. Drag it down a little bit. Now let's see. Yeah, this looks much better. We can see on others too. Yeah, this looks better. So this is the first step of making our effect. We have added a bunny, cat ears over our head. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to use a animated whisker. I'll show you the demo video again of how it looks. So if you look at the whiskers, when you smile, they move. So that's something we're going to learn to do now. I'm going back to my project. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to import the animated whiskers and going to control the animation using smile interaction. So the next thing we'll do is we will add another plane inside the face tracker. So currently it's not connected to the face tracker. It's not inside the face tracker. So it is not moving with our face. So we'll just drag this and add it over here. Okay, great. Now we're going to make a new material for this. Let's just name the plane as whiskers. And let's add a material, create new material. Let's go to this material and name it whiskers matte. Okay, great. For this as well, we don't want the shader type to be any other than flat. We don't want the lights in our project to exactly react to our material. So let's just make this flat. And now let's add a texture. So in Spark AI, you cannot directly import an animation. That's not possible. So what you need to do is you need to turn that animation into an image sequence. So like over here, we have made this animation into an image sequence. We have made a lot of images out of the video. So how you do that is you can go to Google maybe and you can just type animation video to image sequence converter or GIF to image sequence converter. This was a GIF that I converted into image sequence. So you can do that and you can download those image sequence into PNG or JPEG file, whichever you prefer. And then you can import it in Spark AR and then make an animation out of it. So how we are going to do that is instead of choosing new texture over here, we are going to choose new animation sequence. You can either do it from here or you can just go to the assets panel. There's a plus sign over there. Click on that and you can go for animation sequence over here. So let's make a new animation sequence. I'm clicking on new animation sequence. This is what I get. So what happens over here is the GIFs or videos are cut down into images or frames, and then they are played together here and made into an animation. So in the textures, I'm going to go choose the texture, choose file. We are going to come back to our textures that we have over here, and I'm going to copy all of these are six textures that we have over here. I'm going to import it over here. So you see, we have 6 frames, and this is how it's looking right now. It's moving. FPS is 25, that is frames per second. So per second, these 6 frames are being repeated 25 times. So that's why it's looking too fast. We don't want that. Let's maybe change it to 6 and see how it looks. Yeah, it looks a little better. Then there are other controls you can do using this animation sequence. There is an option to loop. So we can loop this animation again and again and again. It won't stop. It will keep on repeating itself. And the second option is randomize. So what randomize does is maybe I have an image sequence of maybe 10 frames, and I want to randomize the frames. I don't want them to go in one sequence. I want them to go as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want them to maybe change it a little bit every time. So 6, 5, 2, 1, or 1, 5, 8, 9. So it will randomize. So that's something we can do over here if we check this box. So this is a little bit about image sequence. Let's name it. As you can see, I am not naming it from over here. You can name it from here, but as well as from here. There are 2 ways to name the objects and image, all the assets that we use. So now currently our whiskers are looking like this. What we are going to do is we are going to scale them a little bit, position them nicely. So I'm just going to pause this video. I'm going to drag the manipulator, using the manipulator over here on the nose, and I'm going to reduce the scale only on the x-axis. So I'm just clicking on the x-axis, sorry, on the y-axis, and I'm just dragging it down a little bit. So now the y-axis we have reduced, and it looks like this. Again, we're going to use our manipulator. We'll position it correctly on the nose now. I maybe want to reduce it on y-axis furthermore. Okay. And this is how it will look right now. So let's see how the animation looks. Okay. Now you can see the whiskers and the ears are of different color. If you like it this way, well and good, but I want it to be of the same color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of my whiskers. To do that, I'm going to go to the material, whiskers matte, and in the right side in the materials panel, you can see we have an option of color under diffuse above the texture animation that we have used over here. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to turn it to black. This is one way of changing color of your texture. So now you can see both of them are black and it's looking good. But now what I want to do over here is I don't want the animation to be continuously playing. I want it to be animated only when I'm smiling. So for that, what we have to do is we have to go to a patch editor. So we'll go to view option over here, and we will click on show patch editor. Now this is a patch editor. What patch editor does is basically it is visual coding. So if you don't need to exactly know how to script or how to code when you're using Sparky, it is very user friendly. So one thing you can do instead of scripting is you can use a patch editor. So that is, you can make logic out of blocks over here. So when I right click into the patch editor, I get all of these patches available. So I can just use some logic and make my animations, or make some other things, make some assets move, or make 3D objects move. All of that can be done without using scripting in the patch editor. So that's what we're going to use today. So what I'm going to do first is I want these whiskers to be in loop animation. So I'm going to go to animation, and I'm going to click on loop animation. So in the right, you can see what it actually does, what are the inputs, what are the outputs of this patch. And further on, you can also go to view documentation, which will take you to Spark AR's learn section, and you can actually read in detail what this loop animation does. This is available for all the patches that are available in the patch editor section. So yeah, let's go and take loop animation. I'm going to add this patch. We have duration. There are few nodes. These arrows are known as nodes. That's where we connect one patch to other from. So now what I'm going to do is I have had my loop animation patch. Now I want a transition patch. So this transition patch will what it will do is it will it will be helpful in transitioning the frames. So from first frame to third frame, how will it go? In what position? In what scale? All of that can be done using transition. So I'm going to take the progress node. I'm going to click it this way. So we again get this uh, options of different kind of patches. You can do it either that way, or you can just right click. So we're just going to click over here, and we are going to add transition. So transitions, it transitions something from one state to another depending on the data type selected. So for example, I'm adding this patch. Currently, vector C is selected over here, the data type. So over here, what we can do is we can animate position of something from one point to another. So from zero, it starts from zero on the X, Y, and Z axis and goes to one. Maybe we can try this. I'm going to take the whiskers. I'm going to take click here. So that brings the 3D position into the patch editor, and I can connect this over here. So as you can see, the whiskers are moving from one place to another. We can also change durations over here. So if I do 6, you can see how it's moving. So we can, this is something we can do with this. We can also animate not just position but also scale and rotation. So if scale is there, you can see how the scale has been animated. Similarly, with rotation as well, I'm going to connect this and show you. And you can see how the rotation is happening. Okay, but we are not doing this today. These are not the kind of animations that we want. So what we are going to do next is we are going to change the data type, and we are going to change it to numbers. So this in this way we'll change the frame. What we'll do now is we'll go to our whiskers animation texture, and we'll see how many frames we have over here. So duration is 6 frames. We have 6 frames over here. So what we'll do is we'll start with 0 and end with 6. And then we are going to go back to our whiskers plane, and sorry, we are going to go to our animation sequence over here. This is the animation sequence we saw some time ago. And in the advanced option, you see something as current frame. So we're just going to click on the current frame and bring it over here. So what current frame exactly is that there are 6 frames over here. So the current frame, it will show us the current frame of the effect. So current frame is 0 over here, so we are saying 0. We can do 1, then we can do 2, and so on over here. So we are going to connect this to our transition patch. Now you can see this, our whiskers have been animated in the patch editor, but that's not something that we want. Duration, I'm going to change it to 1. Yeah, now you can see it's been animated using patch editor. Now what we are going to do is we are going to connect it to a face interaction. So when we right click on patch editor, you will see there are a lot of things over here. We'll go to interaction. Click on interaction. You'll see there are a lot of types of interactions available over here. There is blink, there is eyebrow lowered, there's raised, happy face, head nod, etc. etc. There's kissing face, left eye closed, mouth open, object tap or screen tap. All these things are over here. But what I want is when I smile, the animation starts. So we are just going to click on smile and add this patch. We're going to place it before loop animation, and we are going to connect this gesture state node to enable. So currently you can see the enable is not it's not enabled, so the animation is not working right now. Why? Because we have used smile, but we haven't connected which face we want it to track. We need to define that in the patch editor as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it a little to the right, and you see face track over here. I'm going to drag it into the patch editor. So what it does is there are three patches which come automatically. So first one is a face finder. It finds your face. It finds the face in the scenario, in the scene. Second is face select. So you can choose to track more than one face, and you can specify how many faces you're choosing and how many faces do you want this interaction to work with. Then we have connected with the face tracker patch. So what it does is it has all these nodes with you can track the position of the face tracker or the scale or the rotation, or you can just tag the face. So today we're just going to tag the face, and I'm just going to click this and connect it with face. So now you see when, okay, she is smiling, but when she does not smile, the animation stops. Mm, yeah, see. So when she opened her mouth, the animation stopped working. Let's just see it again. Yeah, now the animation is not working, but when she's smiling, showing her teeth, that's when the animation starts working. So in the similar way, you don't have to just use smile. You can use some other interactions as well. Yeah, see it's working over here. You can see it's working. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment around this. I'm going to left click my mouse and select all of these, and then right click and comment around. This also helps organizing your effect when the effect is very complex. This can help. We can color code it. We can change the name of it. This Whiskers introduction is what I'm going to name this for now. So when I open my project after a few months or maybe after a while and I don't remember what's happening, this is something we can do. So this is how the effect, this is how our effect works. Now let's see how we can save it. Just go to file and save, and maybe you can name it something. We can see workshop 1, and we can save it. It will be saved in your computer. The next thing we need to do is we need to maybe see a test link. We need to remove the test link to try it on. So for that, what we need to do is in the leftmost corner, can you see something as project properties? There's a gear icon over there. Click on that. So it's written choose an experience type. So we saw in the starting that there are different experiences type. There is a sharing experience, there's a video calling experience. So we're going to do that now. I'm going to do change project properties, and I'm going to add an experience, and it's going to be sharing experience. So we're going to insert sharing experience over here, and done. So now we can, so now the project knows that it's a sharing experience. Next thing we need to do is we need to set the size of this effect. So we can go to view and we can go to asset summary. So asset summary actually shows us the actual size of this effect. Currently at iOS it is 116.5 KB, Android 74.8 KB, and older Android 47.8 KB, which is good enough because if you are using this AR effect on Instagram, if you want to make this AR effect for Instagram, the size limitation is around 4 MB, and for Facebook it is around 10 MB. So if you make a file heavier than that, it won't work on on those platforms. We need to keep it small. So the reason for this is so that there are different types of devices. Everyone has not everyone has high-end devices which can take such heavy files, and it takes a lot of time to load such heavy files. So it's the so that the AR experience should be enjoyed by everyone, no matter what kind of device they have. We keep the file size as low as possible, and the maximum we can go is 4 MB for uh, Instagram and 10 for Facebook. So moving on, currently we are in our size limitations. That's a good thing. So next thing that we are going to do is we are going to test it on our device. So I'm going to click over here in the left. There's the option to test on device. Let's just click on it. You get an option to send it on Instagram or Facebook. I want to see how it looks on Instagram. So I'm just going to do send. It's going to take a little time to load. Okay, so it has been sent to Instagram and I get a notification. I'll show you how that looks. But meanwhile, if I want to share this test link to a friend of mine to maybe try on the effect and tell me if they like it or they want to change something. So I'm just going to go here and I'm going to copy this test link and send it to whoever we want. That way they can also try this test link on Instagram. Now I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to show you how the test link looks on my Instagram. So I'm opening my phone and in the notifications tab you get your link. So if you can see over here, I have an option for test link. I'm just going to press on that and here I can see the test link. I'm going to click on continue and I get my test link over here. Wait, I'll just show you how it looks. I'm just going to record it. It's loading. And then I can like try it on in Instagram. That's how you create a test link. And yes, this is all for today. Tomorrow we'll learn how to segment the background and have that color line around us. And if you have any comments, you can drop in the comment section if you have any questions. I will answer as many as I can. And yeah, please go a little slow. I'm sorry if I was too fast, but you can always check out the recording. It will be available on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, so guys, in case you have any kind of queries or any doubts, just let us know in the comment section. Shivani is here to take up your doubts and she'll be clearing your doubts. In case you face any difficulty to get make all these filters, you can just join the Reskills Facebook group too. There a bunch of creators are there, experts are there who will help you out to for your queries and everything. So just do join the Facebook group. That I'll be sharing in the comment section. Just a second. So here is the Facebook group that you guys can join and just ask any queries that you have in your mind regarding the Spark, regarding the regarding the creation and everything, regarding the Instagram filters. If you have any queries regarding this workshop, also we will be having a lined up workshop, second workshop, where Shivani will be teaching, as she already told, she'll be teaching about the segmentation, the Spark, background filters, and the outline filter. She'll be teaching about. So you can just go with it, learn. Do join us on the second workshop also, and we'll be very happy to take up your doubts. And if you face any difficulty in between making all these filters, just do drop a comment in the comment section in the next workshop also. So thank you guys, thank you for joining in, and thank you Shivani, thank you for thank you for coming to facilitate all these students over here over this park. Yeah, it was very great having you, and
Thank you
looking
for
forward for
inviting me. Yes.
yeah. Thank you always, thank you, have a nice day. Thank you guys, thank you for joining.